Hello, my name's Becky May, and today I'm going to be teaching a sequence that's all about balance. So the reason I love working with balance particularly is because it really brings you into the present moment. When you're trying to balance on one leg or your hands or your head or anything, you just can't be anywhere else than focusing on what you're doing. So any mental loops that you're stuck in, just drop away, you're right there. You have to be. It really requires mental focus. So this sequence is really good if you're feeling anxious or you just can't get out your head, you're stuck in those loops. Try this sequence and at the end I can pretty much guarantee your mind will be a much calmer place. It's a challenging sequence, it's not really suitable for beginners, so really you need to have been practicing for a while because there's some quite tricky sequences in there. Things you might need: if the hamstrings are tight, then a brick is really going to be your friend. So something, either a proper yoga brick or something really solid that you can put your weight on, like a thick hardback book. Okay, so we're going to start standing. Let's begin. So come to stand at the front of your mat and just take a moment to lift yourself up on your toes, lifting the heels high, and then slowly keeping the spine straight, grounding the heels down. So already we're in a balance. Keep core awareness through this sequence. It's really going to help. So the heels ground down, bring the shoulders up to the ears, back and down, reach through the fingertips. Deep core or bandha awareness, strong legs and really grounded feet. So we start in Tadasana and just use these first few moments to just tune into how you are as we begin, particularly in the mind, noticing if there's that ungrounded, mental, frazzled mind sense of going round and round in loops. And then bring yourself to the present moment by focusing on your breath. So connect with your slow, deep breath in and out through the nose. Ujjayi breath if you know it. And just continue breathing. Connected, conscious breathing through the nose. We're going to begin with, instead of traditional sun salutations, we're going to do the dragon flow. It's a challenging sequence that has balance aspects to it. And it's one breath, one movement. So we'll do a few rounds and just keep calm. Notice if it's challenging and you fall out. See if we, even if we can't keep the physical balance, see if we can keep the mental equilibrium, which is really what it's all about. Balancing physically is helping us to keep our equipoise, keep our inner mental equipoise no matter what's going on for us. Okay. So let's just synchronize the breath. Deep inhale, filling the ribs, and then deep exhale. And bring the palms together at the center of the chest. As we inhale, we lift the right knee up towards the chest with the foot flexed. Use your core. As we exhale, we push that foot back as if we're slicing through the air. So strong leg, and at the end of the exhale, the toes come down. So in this high lunge. Inhale, take the hands up. Shoulder width apart, palms face each other, look up. Exhale, take the hands down, either side of the left foot, low lunge. Inhale, lean into the right hand, take left hand up and twist, looking up. Twisted dragon. Exhale, release the left hand back down to the floor. Inhale, we come into dragon's tail, take the left foot up and high behind you. And exhale, bring that left foot all the way through to the right. You have to pivot on the back foot so the sole of the right foot's down and we're on the little toe edge of the left foot. With an inhale, take the right hand up and look up. You can balance here by lifting that left leg. Exhale, release the right hand down. Pivot on the back foot. Inhale, return to dragon's tail, so take the left foot up and high. And exhale, bring the left foot between the hands for low lunge again. This is the tricky bit, so firm up your core and your front thigh. We inhale, come to flying dragon, which is warrior 3. You can have the hands out to the side or behind, or trickier, in front. Exhale, bend the left knee, let right foot join left foot, and take the fingertips down. Inhale, take the hands up, keeping the knees bent. And exhale, straighten the legs, hands to the side. Palms come together. Inhale, left knee rises, foot flexed. Exhale, tip the weight forward, push that left foot back, and then bring the toes down at the end of the exhale. High lunge, tricky balance. Inhale, take the hands up, looking up. Exhale, take the hands down either side of the front foot. Inhale, dragon's tail, right foot up, high behind you. Exhale, pivot on the back foot, sole of the left foot on the floor, and take right foot through to the left on the little toe edge. Inhale, take the left hand up, maybe raising right foot. Exhale, left hand comes down. Inhale, pivot on the left foot, right foot rises for dragon's tail again. Exhale, look forward, bring the right foot between the hands, the low lunge. Firm up your core and front thigh. Inhale, coming into flying dragon, warrior 3. Exhale, left foot joins right, bend the knees, fingertips touch down. Inhale, raise the hands, keeping the hips low. Exhale, straighten the legs, hands return to the side. And again, palms together at the chest. Inhale, right leg rises, foot flexed. Exhale, weight tips forward, right foot pushes back and the toes come down to the floor, high lunge. Inhale, stretch the hands up and look up. Exhale, hands come down either side of the front foot. Lean into the right hand, inhale, look up, twist. Exhale, release the left hand down. I think I might have missed the twist on the other side, sorry. Inhale, stretch the left foot up, dragon's tail. Exhale, pivot on the back foot, left foot comes through. Inhale, raise the right hand and look up. Exhale, right hand comes down. Pivot on the back foot, inhale into dragon's tail. Exhale, left foot between the hands, low lunge. Load up the front thigh. Inhale into flying dragon, warrior 3. Exhale, bend the left knee, right foot joins left, fingertips to the floor. Inhale, raise the hands, hips low. Exhale, straighten the legs, hands to the side. Palms together. Inhale, lift the left leg, foot flexed. Exhale, tip weight forward, stretch left foot back, release the toes to the mat. High lunge. Inhale, extend the hands upwards, looking up, hands shoulder width apart. Exhale, take the hands down either side of the front foot. Lean into the left hand. Inhale, twist, looking up to the right hand. I actually can't remember whether I included this in the previous round, but we'll take an extra few breaths here just in case I did miss it out. Okay, so just enjoy a few more breaths here. And then on your next exhale, release the right hand down. Inhale, step the right foot up for flying dragon. Exhale, pivot on the back foot, bring the little toe edge of the right foot down. Inhale, raise the left hand, look up. Exhale, left hand comes down. Pivot on the back foot again on the toes. Inhale, raise the right leg high behind you for dragon's tail. Exhale, right foot between the hands, low lunge. Load up the core and the front thigh. Inhale, coming through flying dragon. Remember, you can experiment with different hand positions. Exhale, bend right knee, left foot joins right, fingertips to the floor. Inhale, keep the hips low. Take the hands up, look up. And exhale, straighten the legs, hands come to the side. We're just going to do one more round on each side. Palms together at the chest. Inhale, flex the right foot and lift the right knee high. Exhale, push through the heel as you take the weight forward and push back through the foot. At the end of the exhale, the toes come down. Inhale, stretching the arms up, high lunge. Exhale, hands come down to the floor either side of the left foot. Inhale, lean into the right hand, stretch the left hand up and look up for a twist. Exhale, release the left hand back down. Inhale, take the left foot high behind you, dragon's tail. And exhale, pivot on the back foot so the right foot's planted on the floor, left foot comes all the way out to the right on the little toe edge. Inhale, raise the right hand, look up, remembering you can also lift the left foot for balance. Exhale, release the right hand down. Pivot on the back foot, on the toes. Inhale, send the left foot high, dragon's tail up behind you. Exhale, look forward and step the left foot between the hands, low lunge. Inhale, load up the front thigh. Flying dragon, arms outstretched in front of you or out to the sides or behind. Exhale, bend left knee, right foot joins left, fingertips to the floor. Inhale, keep the hips low as you take the hands up. Exhale, straighten the legs, hands to the side. Last round, palms together at the chest. Inhale, raise the left leg, foot flexed. Exhale, tip the weight forward, push that left heel out behind you and bend the front knee, bringing the toes down with control at the end of the exhale. Inhale, reach the hands up. Exhale, take the hands down either side of the front foot, lean into the left hand. Inhale, twist, take the right hand up and look up, legs very strong. Exhale, release the right hand to the floor. Inhale, take that right foot high up behind you for dragon's tail. Exhale, pivot on the back foot, take the right foot out to the left, lean into the right hand. Inhale, take the left hand up, looking up. Exhale, release the left hand down. Pivot on the back foot. Inhale, take the right foot up high behind you, dragon's tail. Exhale, look forward, step the right foot between the hands. Find your core and strength in the thigh and inhale into your final flying dragon. Exhale, bend the right leg, left foot joins right, fingertips to the floor. Inhale, take the hands up, keeping the hips low. Exhale, straighten the legs, hands to the side. Bring the palms together at the front, at the centre of the chest, and just let the heart rate settle. My heart rate's up. And we're going to keep coming back to this kind of reset posture, because when we're doing challenging postures, the heart rate rises, and kind of the nervous system activates. So we just come back and let the heart rate come down, the breath deepen again, calming the nervous system. Deep breaths. Great. And then step the feet to hip distance apart. Take the hands to the hips. Inhale, roll the shoulders back, open the chest, look up. Exhale, hinge at the hips, coming forward to Padangusthasana. So we take the first two fingers and the thumb around the big toes. You might need to bend the knees here. Inhale, look up with the arms straight. Exhale, forward fold, drop the head, back of the neck long. And just challenge your balance a little bit here by bringing the weight really into the toes. So you're actively pressing the big toes into the finger pads. And you can get to that place where you feel right at the edge of your balance. Just play with that edge. And then coming back and coming forward again. So we're just kind of rocking a little bit, but not going too far. Finding the edge and really use your core to stabilize you. Your deep transverse abdominals, navel lifting to spine, and your pelvic floor lifting for Mula Bandha. Neck is long, shoulders wide. And on your next inhale, look up, lengthen the spine. And exhale into Padahastasana. So lift up the feet one by one and bring the palms underneath the soles of the feet. And again, we're just going to play with our center of balance here. Inhale, look up, lengthen the spine, draw the shoulders back. Exhale, forward fold. And just notice where your weight is. Perhaps it's back in the heels. See what it's like to press, bring the weight forward and press the big toes actively into the palm of the hand. And again, you can find that edge where you feel comfortably balanced. You're just teetering, but you're not going beyond your balance. So we're playing with that edge. And use your core to bring you back from the edge. Breathing deep. And then inhale, look up, flatten the back again, draw the shoulders back. Exhale, release the hands from underneath the feet, bend the knees, hands to the hips. Inhale, push through the legs, bring yourself up. Exhale, step the feet together, bring the palms together, return to our Tadasana variation with the palms together at the center of the chest. Reset. Okay, now we're going to step to the right. We're going to go into Trikonasana, the triangle, and then into half moon. So if the hamstrings are tight, take a brick and have it ready by your right foot. And remember, bricks have 3 heights, so you can choose what height you need it at. Okay, so turn left foot in, right foot out, heels in line, hips face forward. Firm the thighs, inhale here, exhale, slide to the right with the torso, and then release the right hand to the shin, thigh or foot. Left hand stretches up and we look up, opening across the front of the chest. Spreading the toes, pushing the feet down actively, drawing up on the kneecaps to firm the thighs. And see if you can tuck the tailbone under and the navel in to really find this Bandha control, Bandha awareness. Really helps with balancing. If we can balance from this core awareness, we're much more light and easy in the postures. Deep breaths. Okay, now release the left hand to the left hip, turn to look at your right foot, bend the right knee and take the right fingertips forward and to the outside of the foot, remembering you can use your block. Start to step or slide the back foot in until the right hip's above the left and we can drift that left leg off the floor. Push through the heel, turn inwardly to rotate the leg so all 5 toes turn forward. Now we start looking at the floor and the torsos towards the floor, but then we see if we can start to draw the left shoulder back to turn the torso sideways on, and if it's okay you raise the left hand up and you play with your drishti, your gaze point. You start looking at the floor but you can incrementally challenge yourself to look forward and maybe eventually up to that top hand. Spread the toes of the right foot, the grounded foot, push through the heel of the left foot. Stay here or for the last 2 or 3 breaths, bend the left heel into the buttock, take hold of the front of the ankle and push the foot into the hand to get this lovely opening across the front of the left hip flexor. Keep pushing the ankle into the hand, into a back bend. Okay, Chapasana. Release the foot if you have the foot, return to half moon and then bend the standing leg and see if you can make the exit part of the posture light as a feather. Place that back foot down, inhale, come up, and we'll go to the other side, so remember to bring your block with you if you need a block. Turn the right foot in, the left foot out, heels in line, hips forward. Inhale here, strengthening the thighs. Exhale, slide to the left with the torso, release the left hand down, reach the right hand up and look up. Broad across the chest, find the bandha awareness, tailbone tucks under, navel draws into spine, perineum lifts or pelvic floor. Relax the jaw. And then you can release the right hand onto the right hip, turn to look at the left foot, bend the left knee, and you start to walk and step the back foot forward. The left fingertips are kind of underneath the left shoulder on your block or on the floor. When the left hip is above the ankle, taking the right foot off the floor, pushing through the heel, inwardly rotating the foot so the toes point forward, and then start to draw that right shoulder back, turning the torso sideways on, and maybe taking the right hand up, and then maybe playing with your drishti, possibly even looking up. Or look at the floor, no problem. Keep the hand on the hip, no problem. Go as far as is right for you. Last couple of breaths, if you wish, variation of Chapasana. Bend the right heel into the buttock, take hold of the front of the ankle, push the foot into the hand behind you to get this back bend, front hip opener. If you have Chapasana, release and return to Ardha Chandrasana, the half moon, and then bend that standing leg slowly, light as a feather maybe, bring the back foot down, and we're just going to step the feet together, return to our reset posture. Strong work for the legs and the ankles, great for building up ankle stability, all these standing balances, which stand us in good stead for our longevity. Okay, so we're going to do a pretty challenging sequence now. That was the triangle. We're going to go into the revolved triangle, Parivriti Trikonasana, and do a whole balancing sequence from there. So we're just going to do it. Okay, let's not think too much about it. Again, take your brick with you. So we're going to turn left foot in, right foot out, but this time the hips follow, so the hips are facing the front foot. If you know your hamstrings are tight, have your brick close to your right foot, maybe on the inside of the right foot. Okay, so take your right hand onto the low back to draw the right shoulder back. Inhale, lift up through the left side. Firm up the thighs, feel like you're squeezing the inner thighs together. Inhale here, lots of length down the left side. Exhale, stretch the torso forward like you're trying to touch something in front of you. When you can't stretch any further, take the left hand down, either onto your block. Remember, it has 3 heights, on the inside of the right foot, possibly the floor. If you're more open, you might be able to take the left hand onto the right foot, or even, if you're very open, left hand's on the little toe edge of the right foot. Wherever you get to, squeeze the inner thighs together, start to twist towards the right leg, keeping the leg straight, and if it's available, stretch the right hand up and look up. Parivriti Trikonasana. Spread the toes, firm the thighs. Find your bandhas, your core awareness. Squeeze the inner thighs together and reach up through the right fingertips. Grounding down through the left foot, the back foot. Okay, we're going to come into Parivriti Ardha Chandrasana, a very tricky balance. Take the right hand to rest on the lower back. Take the left hand forward as if it's underneath the left shoulder. Remember, you can use your block here. So step forward. So again, when the right hip is above the right ankle, we can raise the left foot, but this time the hips are square to the floor. So now all 5 toes point towards the floor. Inwardly rotate the left leg. Squeeze the inner thighs together. Find your core, and then see if you can start to twist the torso without moving the legs and the hips towards the right. Keep that left heel lifted and left leg active, and maybe even stretch the right hand up to the ceiling, and maybe even look up. Keep very active in the back leg, pushing out through the back heel, lifting that left heel. One more breath. And then exhale, release the right hand down. And we're going to walk the hands towards the right foot and take that left foot really high. Hips can come out of alignment here. We're coming into standing splits with the hips open. So we're almost stacking the left hip on top of the right. Drop the head in towards the shin. Point up through the left toes. You can stay here with the fingertips on the floor or on blocks. Or if you want to play with balance, first take the right hand to the back of the ankle. So you're just resting on the left fingertips. And maybe if you feel stable, you can experiment with taking the left hand to the back of the ankle as well. Just play with the balance. One more breath. And then we bring the fingertips back down to the floor, bend that front leg, slowly lower the left foot back behind you. We're coming into Parsvottanasana, the pyramid pose. And so square the hips to the front. Inhale, look up. You might still need a block here. Exhale, we're folding over the front leg. If you're open, you can take the hands back, palms facing up, or fingertips either side of the foot. For me, because we're doing very challenging work for this outer right hip muscles, not such a deep stretch is better for me. So I'm probably not going to go for the full stretch, just fingertips either side of the foot, but drop the head. Breathe into the outer right hip. One more breath here. And then our final challenge, we're going to come from here into Warrior 3. We've already been in the dragon sequence, so firm up your core, firm up the front thigh, take the weight forward, step until the right hip's above the ankle, and take the hands either out to the side behind you or forward. Inwardly rotate that back foot so the 5 toes point towards the floor and push out through the back heel. Use your core. One more breath. And then slowly come to bring the left foot to join the right. Reach the hands up, above you, palms together, and exhale. Bring the hands to the center of the chest. Returning to our reset posture. Notice how different your right leg feels to your left leg. Probably quite a lot of fire going on around the right hip. So it's wonderful work for strengthening these hip joints and the ankle joints. And I bet you've not been thinking about your shopping list for the past few minutes. Okay, so we're going to go to the other side. So take your brick with you to the left now. So we just pivot on the foot. And just bring your hands to your hips, turning right foot in so the toes are in front of the ankle. Left foot faces all the way forward. Take your left hand behind you onto the lower back to draw the left shoulder back. Inhale, reach up through the right side. Get really long. And as you exhale, stretch forward, keeping the length down the right side. And then when you can't go any further, bring that hand down onto your block on the inside of the left foot or the floor, or possibly outside of the left foot. Squeeze the inner thighs together, firm up the front thigh. Draw the left shoulder back, start to twist to the left. And maybe lifting the left hand, looking up to the left hand. Parivriti Trikonasana. Pushing through both feet actively, firming both thighs, drawing navel to the spine. Push actively through the right hand, reach actively through the left hand. And breathe as deeply as you can. One more breath. And then coming out, we're going to bend the left leg, take your block forward of your left foot, just in front of the foot, or slightly inside, and start to take the weight forward. If you don't need a block, fingertips on the floor. When the left hip's above the ankle, raise the right foot, and again just inwardly rotate that back foot so the 5 toes point down, push actively through the back foot. You can stay here, you can even just stay here with both fingertips on the floor. Otherwise, engage the core, start to twist to the left, drawing the left shoulder back, bringing as much of the torso to face the left as possible, and maybe lifting the left hand, looking up. Keep pushing out through the back heel, very strong in the back leg. Push through the left foot on the floor and reach up through the left fingertips. And then exhale, release the left hand down to the mat or onto your blocks. Take the right foot high as you walk the fingertips back to the left foot, kind of framing the left foot or in front. Drop the head towards the shin, point the right toes up, stretch that right leg up. Standing splits, hips are open here for this variation, and then you can explore. If you feel stable, see what it's like to take the left hand to the back of the left heel. So you're just balancing on the right fingertips, and maybe explore holding the ankle with both hands. And then release the hands to the floor, bend the standing leg slowly, lightly as a feather, she says. Bring that back foot down, toes of the right foot pointing in front of the heel, and the heels are in line, more or less. You can walk the left foot out to the left a little bit here to help the hips face forward. Inhale, look up, lengthen. Exhale, drop the head. Pause Uttanasana, our pyramid posture. And again, you can go deeper by taking the hands back, palms facing up. Deep breaths, squeezing the inner thighs together, pushing through both feet. Core awareness. Now really find your core awareness, because we're going to find our warrior 3, our final posture. Draw navel to the spine, take the weight forward when the left hip's above the right. Lift the back foot, final burst of energy here, push through that back heel, inwardly rotate the back foot so all 5 toes point down, trying to drop the right hip in line with the left. It's very tricky, so the hips are square, and reach dynamically forward or out to the side or behind with the fingertips. One more breath. And then as you inhale, try and bring right foot to join left, reach up with the fingertips above you, and exhale. Bring the hands to the centre of the chest, palms together. Reset. Let the heart rate come down. My heart's hammering away here. Okay, we haven't quite finished with our balance challenges today. It's strong work in the legs and the feet. That's why these little tune-ins are really important, just to let everything settle. But when you're ready, we're going to go into Vrikasana, but we're going to do some variations. So we're going to be in Vrikasana, the tree, a little bit longer than usual. So we'll start balancing on the left foot. So spread the toes, firm the thigh, and keep sucking this left hip in towards the centre line. Try not to let it drop out. All these balancing postures are stabilising these hip joints, so we're getting stronger here. And then inhale, like we did in the Dragon Flow, lift the right knee high with the foot flex, using the hip flexor muscles here. Push through the left heel into the mat. And then you can take your hands around the front of the shin or the back of the knee and just draw that knee in a little bit closer, drawing the shoulders back, opening the chest. Take your gaze to something that's not moving, so not me, just ahead of you. And then we'll come into Vrikasana. So bring the heel of the right foot into the inner thigh with the toes pointing down, and press the heel into the left thigh and resist with the left thigh. So everything's sucking into the centre line. Hands come together at the centre of the chest. Spread the left toes, push down actively through the left foot. Inhale, raise the hands above the head, stretching out, full stretch. Exhale, keep the stretch and open the hands wide, dynamic fingertips, but use the big back muscles to draw the shoulder blades together down the spine without losing this stretch through the sideways. I'm going to take 3 or so breaths here. Keep pushing right heel into left leg and pushing back with the left leg. Find your core, so we're just breathing into the upper chest, full thoracic breaths. Now variation 1, bring the back of the right hand to the inner right thigh, left arm close to the ear. Inhale, stretch up through the left fingertips. Exhale, leaning over to the left. Ever so slightly, pressing lightly with the back of the right hand into the right thigh. So this shifts the centre of balance, so we have to make adjustments. You should feel a stretch down the left side of the body. One more breath. Inhale, come back to the centre and raise right hand to join left. Exhale, bring the hands behind you, and if you can, come into reverse namaste, so we wriggle the fingertips up the spine to find that prayer position behind the back. If that's not available, hold on to opposite elbows. Either way, we draw the shoulders back, pressing the palms together. If you're in namaste, pushing the little fingers into the space behind the heart. Breathe into the upper chest. And then release. Inhale, take the hands up above you. Final challenge. See if you can take the gaze up to the fingertips. And then bring the gaze forward. Bring the hands back down the centre line to the centre of the chest. Inhale here. Exhale, release the right foot to join the left. Woo. So if you wobble and fall out, it doesn't matter. You just fall out and come back in as many times as you want, because as I said, the physical practice of balance is really just preparing us for this inner balance. So if we fall out and keep coming back in, as long as we retain this mental equipoise throughout, that's great. That's the yoga, you know. The physical is just the kind of very visible aspect of what's going on. So, right side, firm the thighs, spread the toes, draw the right hip in. The spine is upright. Use your core and your hip flexors to lift this left knee, flexing the foot. Take the hands forward around the back of the knee or the front of the shin and draw the knee into the chest, pushing down through the right heel to open the back of the right leg. And then we take the left heel into the inner right thigh and the toes are pointing all the way down, and we're pressing heel into the thigh and resisting with the thigh to keep this right hip sucking in, left knees drawing back behind us. And bring the palms together at the centre of the chest. Find your gaze point, your drishti on the floor, something that's not moving. Inhale, take the hands up through the centre line of the body above the head, full stretch here. Exhale, open the hands, dynamic fingertips, draw the shoulder blades down the spine so the shoulders are away from the ear. Spread the right toes. Breathe. Classic Vrksasana posture. Upper chest breathing, thoracic breathing, so stabilise the lower belly. Draw navel to spine and lift on pelvic floor muscles. Variation 1, bring the back of the hand to lightly press the inner left thigh and bring the right upper arm close to the ear. Inhale, stretch up through the right side to get really long, and then with full extension, exhale, slightly bend over to the left, pushing down through the right heel, reaching through right fingertips. So you feel this stretch on the right side of the body. And then inhale, bring the left hand back up to join the right above the head, coming back to the previous centre of balance. And then exhale, take the hands behind you, find either reverse namaste or hold on to opposite elbows. Press the palms together. If you're in reverse namaste, draw the shoulders back. Whatever hand position you're in, breathe into the upper chest. Still stabilising the core, lifting the collarbones with the inhales. And then releasing the hands, final position, inhale, raise the hands above the head again, moving slowly so that we don't lose our balance. or minimize losing our balance, and then see if you can start to take the gaze slowly up, all the way up, to look at the hands. Massively challenges the balance. Don't worry if you fall out. Normal. And then bring the gaze forward again. On an exhale, bring the hands back to the centre of the chest. Inhale here. And exhale. Release the left foot to join the right. Woo. So you might need to just ease out your ankles here. Strong work. So we're pretty much finished with the standing balances, you'll probably be pleased to hear. So we're going to come down to the floor, we're going to do a couple more balance variations and then a couple of really deep hip stretches to counter all this work we're doing. Okay, so if the knees are okay, we're going to come down into Malasana squat from stand. Otherwise come down to the mat in your own way, or come as deeply as you can into this squat and just hold. Otherwise we're going to take it all the way down. So most people, well definitely me, for Malasana I need to turn the feet out with my feet about mat distance apart. We're going to inhale, raise the hands up. Some of you might be able to do it with feet parallel though. And then exhale, start to drop the hips down, keeping the spine as upright as possible between the hips. And then you can bring the hands down. You might need to adjust the feet. Don't worry if the heels lift off, you can keep the fingertips on the floor for support. But if you feel stable here, upper arms push to the inside of the thighs, thumbs come to the chest, and we drop down through the hips. Draw the shoulders back, open the chest and lift up through the spine. Malasana, the garland pose. Grounding posture. So after all this balancing on one leg, just feel the ground beneath your feet. Although I know for some people it's not a very grounded posture if the heels are off, and it's quite challenging. But just have that sense of downward energy, feeling how close to the floor you are. So even if you did fall, you wouldn't go very far. Okay, and we're going to use this as a starting point into a hand balance, arm balance that we're going to do today, which is Bakasana, the crow. So we're going to take the hands forward on the floor and really spread the hands, because your hands are your feet now, so you want them as bigger surface area as possible. And if you're new to this, you're going to keep the thighs on the outer arms and squeeze the thighs in. If you're more familiar with the posture, you can come into the full posture with the knees into the armpits. Okay, so we're just going to play with this. So if you're familiar with the posture, just go into it. Otherwise, squeezing the thighs into the upper arms, we're just taking the weight forward. You could have a blanket here if you were nervous about falling forward. Rocking back and forth, coming onto the toes. Maybe playing with lifting one foot, the other foot, but keep squeezing the thighs in and keep using the core. And maybe for a moment you might get both feet off the floor. So just play, rocking back and forth. Otherwise, knees in the armpits, you're taking the weight forward and you're bringing the big toes together at the buttocks, and then the final detail is to press through the hands to lengthen the arms straight, more or less. That's the full Bakasana. So playing around. If you're in full Bakasana, take about 5 breaths if you can, and then see if you can do the shooting of the feet back to Chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Great. And then our last balance we're going to do today. So if you've just been playing with Bakasana, the crow, just come to seated. And as I said, it's a challenging sequence, so we're going to balance on our sacrum with Navasana. We're just going to do a couple of rounds of Navasana and then we'll come on to our deep hip stretches. So Navasana, the boat pose. Come onto the toes, bend the knees, walk the feet in towards you, draw the shoulders back, take the hands forward. Now lean back. Stage 1 is just to lift the toes off the floor, or even actually stage 1 you can have the toes on the floor and just lift out of the lower back. Stage 2, take the feet off the floor and bring the shins parallel to the floor. You can hold the back of the knees. Final stage, full Navasana, the boat pose. You straighten the legs, very firm in the hip flexors. Keep drawing the shoulders back, keep lifting out to the lower back. Chest is being lifted up to the ceiling as though a piece of string is pulling you up, and the legs are super strong, pointing the feet, big toes touch. Reach dynamically through the fingertips and breathe. And then bend the knees, cross the ankles. You can take the feet down or have them hovering. Inhale, lift. Exhale. exhale, lower. One more. Opening up, stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. 5 breaths. And then crossing the ankles, feet on or off the floor. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. And then from here, just step the feet back. Come into a lying down back bend. So just take the hands forward, coming into the Sphinx. Just to open up the front body after that contraction of Navasana. If you want more, turn the hands out, straighten the arms, shoulders back, chest forward. Big toes more or less touching or towards each other. A little bit of awareness in the legs, but the buttocks relaxed. So we're just opening the front body here. If you need more, walk the hands in further, but keep drawing the shoulders back and down the spine, pressing down through the legs and the feet and the pubic bone, relaxing the buttocks. Chest moving forward between the upper arms and fully anchor the hands fully on the floor, fingertips spreading. Slowly push through the hands, lower your front body to the floor. Take the hands underneath the forehead, just take a couple of resting breaths here. Breathing deep into the low back, wobble the hips a little bit if you need. And then we're going to come into our deep hip openers. So have the hands underneath the shoulders, press yourself up to a kneeling position, and then we're just going to slide the left knee behind the left foot, coming into pigeon. If for any reason this isn't available for you for the knee, you can do the same thing on your back, thread the needle. So you can take your left hand underneath the left leg and hold the right knee. Otherwise, pigeon. So the left shin is across the body. If you want this less intense, heel is closer to the right hip bone, more intense shin towards parallel with the front of the mat. We're stepping the right foot back as far as it will go, coming onto the top of the right foot, and you can take a block or a blanket under the left hip if you need. Keep this left foot flexed. Pressing down through the top of the right foot, we start to take the weight forward, and we're just allowing the weight of the body to open up this left hip. We've really been working the hips very hard in the balances, so now we're going to just give them a rest, give them a stretch. So just breathing deep here. Taking your awareness to the part of the body being stretched, the outer left hip. Breathing in space and breathing out tension. Make sure the head is supported with something. I've just got mine up because I'm talking, but your back of the hands or stuck in the fists or a block, but make sure the forehead's supported. And arms can be in any position. I quite like having palms together in front of me, or palms down, or underneath the head. And just relax everywhere that you can relax. So there's action, the legs are active, we're pressing through the top of the right foot and we're flexing the left foot. But the shoulders and the belly and the jaw and the back can all relax here. Deepen the breath. Couple more slow deep breaths, allowing the weight of your body to passively open this left hip. And then we're coming up, slowly bringing the hands back into the shin. We're leaning over to the left so that we can bring the right leg forward, and I'll come to face you. We're going to come into the fire log. So we swing the right foot in, and the sole of the right foot ends up being flush with the outer left thigh, and the right knee is on top of the left ankle. Now if this isn't available for you, you can do various things. You can use a block under that right knee. You can just put the right shin in front of the left as well. Okay, so don't, if there's any complaint in this right knee, and also your foot might only come to halfway, that's fine. Just come as far as you can, support. Eventually we're swinging that foot all the way across, using a support, all right shin in front of left. And this might be enough for you. Now we're working on the other hip, the right outer hip. Should be feeling this. So you can just stay upright and breathe. But if you feel you've got a little bit further to go, keep the feet very flexed during this. Just take the hands in front of the shins and just taking at least 5 slow deep breaths, and maybe the body might invite you to go a little bit deeper as you breathe. So nice slow deep breaths, dropping the head when you get to your deepest fold. Breathing into the right hip now. If you have any pain in this right knee, back off, okay? Really tune into this right knee. So if the hip is tight, it's going to be tight in the hip, in the knee too. Just a couple more slow deep breaths. Breathing into the back body. If you're quite far forward, keep pressing through the hands to make sure the pelvis stays glued to the floor so we don't creep the back edge of the pelvis off the mat. And then at the end, exhale, slowly walk the hands in if you've walked forward. We're going to finish this sequence with a twist. So we bring the sole of the right foot down to the floor to the outside of the left knee, and we bring this left foot to the outside of the right hip. You might need to sit on a block here because we want to have both buttocks, both edges of the pelvis on the floor. If you can, press the whole of the sole of the right foot down on the mat. You might need to bring it more in front of the knee if it's not possible on the outside. And then we inhale, take your right hand back as a support, inhale, lift up through the left side, exhale, twist to the right, and options are to just take the knee into the crook of the elbow, look behind you, possibly take the bind with the left hand underneath the right thigh, finding right fingertips, or you can, if you're quite open, tuck the armpit beyond the right knee and fold the hand back to find the sole of the the right foot with the left fingertips, but keep the right hip down, and then the right hand comes all the way around to the left hip. And then turn to the front, release. And we're going to do all of that sequence on the other side. So to come out of this, you could bring the right heel back a little bit and just come forward onto the knees and step back to downward dog or tabletop. Or in your own way, just find your way back to tabletop. Okay, so we're going to slide from tabletop the right knee behind the right wrist and just come onto the left toes and slide the left foot as far back as it can go, and then come onto the top of the left foot. Remembering if this right buttock's not on the floor, use anything you've got to hand, a blanket, a cushion, a block, underneath the right hip. So we want it connected to something. Right heel can be close to the hip or more parallel with the front of the mat. Press down through the back top of the left foot and the left thigh, and then start to walk the hands forward into reclining pigeon. Just notice how this side is. Often if you're right-handed, right side dominant, this might be a tighter side for you. It certainly is for me. So modify however you need with props or taking the foot closer to the hip. Make sure the head's resting on something. Choose your hand position, holding opposite elbows, palms together, palms pressing down. And then relax your jaw, relax your shoulders, relax your back, relax your belly. Keep awareness in the legs and the feet. And take your awareness to the area being stretched. No doubt the right outer hip. That's what we're looking for here. Breathe into that area. So where consciousness goes, prana flows. Where the mind goes, prana flows. So we focus on the area being opened and transformed, and we breathe with consciousness with that part of the body in our mind. And prana goes to that area, fresh energy. Releasing the old, bringing in the new, fresh blood, flushing it all out with the breath. One more deep breath. And at the end of the exhale, slowly walk the hands back in. Lean over to the right so that you can bring this left foot forward. And you're swinging the left foot all the way through. So again, flexing both feet. The sole of the left foot is now flush with the right side of the thigh. Or that might not be available. You just take it as far as you can. And the left knee is above the right ankle. Support with your block if you need under that left knee. Or take the left shin in front of the right shin. And you can still support with blocks. Okay, but keep the feet flexed if you can. Again, start with the hands behind you, lifting up out of the lower back, grounding down through the pelvis, actively flexing the feet, and you can stay here. Otherwise, hands come in front of the shins, inhale, and then exhale, just start to explore where the body wants to go here, finding your edge, letting it just unfold, maybe taking a breath, and seeing if there's any more space, if the body's inviting you to go a little bit further, even if it's 0.5 millimeter. Taking another breath, maybe on the exhale a little bit more, or maybe not, and keep really tuning into this left knee. Any sharp shooting pains, back off. The hips too tight, so don't force. Breathe deep. Breathing into the back of the body, pressing through the hands if your hands are quite far forward to make sure the pelvis stays grounded. One more deep breath. And then slowly walk the hands back in towards you if you've come forward. And then we finish with our twist. So bringing the sole of the left foot down to the floor, to the outside of the right knee and slightly forward if available, or in front of the left of the right knee. Bring the right heel to the outside of the left hip, point that right foot. If you need, sit on a block. Try, then press the sole of the left foot down. Tricky. Left hand behind you, inhale, reach through the right side, twist from the navel towards the bent knee, and easiest option is to just rest the crook of the elbow across the knee. Look behind you, extending the forearm down the thigh. This is a great twist. You don't need to go any further than this. But if you want to go further, you can press the elbow or the upper arm to the outside of the left thigh, maybe taking that bind if it's available, feeding the right hand underneath the left thigh and finding left fingertips. Or this is only if you're very open, if you can come forward so that armpit is kind of on the outside of the right armpit's on the outside of the left knee, then you can extend the hand and hold the underside of the left foot with the right fingertips and keep the left fingertips round to the right foot. I can't remember the name of this posture, but it is a posture. Pointing that right foot, dropping the left heel down, the left hip down, lifting up through the spine. So we don't want to go for a variation that stops us fully breathing. So if you can't breathe in any of these variations, just come back to this first variation where you can fully breathe, and that is a great twist. They're all great twists. Sometimes less is more. Best to be able to fully breathe, get the benefits of the twist without all the extra accoutrements. Okay, turning to the front, release. We're going to come down onto our backs after that challenging sequence, and just hug the knees into the chest for a moment, just a little bit of a reset posture. Again, stretching out the outer hips here. Now, we're going to finish with an inversion. If headstand is in your practice, take headstand because it's a balance. Okay, so just come into your Shirshasana headstand practice. If you are feeling very tired, which I imagine you might be, you can just take your legs up the wall or lift the buttocks, take the hands under the buttocks and extend the legs up to the ceiling. Or, seeing as we've probably got a brick to hand, you can also do the supported inversion, taking the brick to the sacrum and just the bony plate above the buttocks, interlacing the hands around the brick, and one at a time, extending the legs up here. So take an inversion of your choice, headstand, supported inversion as I'm doing here, or legs up the wall, or hands under the buttocks. And we're looking to take between 5 and 10 breaths in our finishing inversion. And just headstand if you're already up, no problem, but if you're interested in how I teach headstand, take the elbows onto the floor and firmly hold the outer upper arms to get the elbows in the right place, and then release the hands but keep the elbows in the same place. Interlace the hands, make a little bowl and put the top of the head behind the bowl, and you can come onto the toes, lift the hips, press down through the elbows, keeping the shoulders above the elbows as you walk the feet towards you. So you can just be practicing here, rocking back and forwards until we get to that place where the back is open enough, and then it's really no effort at all, it's just the core that we use to lift the legs above the head. And then we press down through the elbows, lots of space between the shoulders and the ears, stretching up dynamically through the toes, and using your core awareness, legs active, arms active, core active, breathing. Okay, if you're in headstand and you're coming down before me, just make sure you come into child's pose. Okay, so everybody's starting to come out now, and we'll all take child's pose. So just come into a little child's pose before we come to our Shavasana. Just keeping the knees together, letting the head come to the floor, the shoulders flop forward, hands by the feet, palms up. And just really let the nervous system settle after this challenging balance sequence. Noticing where your mind is at now compared to perhaps when you started the class. And then slowly, when you're ready, coming up to a knee, or last thing to come up to the head, drop the hips to the side, find your way back down to the mat. Maybe just take one more knees into the chest, or a happy baby if there's anything that the body's asking for. Just taking a few breaths to prepare the body for Shavasana. And then extending the legs out, feet wider than hip distance apart, flopping out to the side, arms away from the side, palms up, maybe taking hair bubbles out if you've got your hair up. And if it's cold where you are, a blanket, something over the eyes if it's bright. If the lower back is painful, a rolled up blanket or bolster under the knees. Check your alignment, your head, your neck, your spine, your pelvis. And the limbs are flopping away from the central alignment, and then let go of all effort. No more strenuous activity for the body, just complete rest and relaxation. And knowing that this is an aspect of balance as well, the balance between effort and the balance between ease, sthira and sukha. Sthira is effort, sukha is ease. And the Yoga Sutras direct us to balance sthira and sukha in our asanas, our postures, but in all that we do. So we master this balance between effort and ease. And that's why Shavasana is so important after we've worked hard in the class, to just take utter rest as a balance. So letting go of all effort, letting ease enter your body. If you have the luxury of time today, if you can spend longer in Shavasana, I highly recommend a longer Shavasana after this challenging sequence, just to really let the stillness integrate the work you've done, the stabilising, strengthening work. But if you are finishing with me, then just slowly deepening the breath again and starting to make small movements in the fingers and the toes, and maybe moving the head side to side, very slowly. And any bigger stretches, maybe arms overhead, pushing through the heels, pointing the toes, maybe bringing the knees in, a little hug, rocking side to side. And just in your own time, find your way back to seated. We finish together. And just bring the hands together at the center of the chest and close the eyes. Take your awareness to your third eye, the space between the eyebrows, and just observe. Often after a balancing practice there can be a real spaciousness. This part of the inner world is called Chittakash. It's like our internal movie screen at our third eye. And often when we've cleared the mind with a really focused practice, there can be a real sense of open spaciousness here. Sometimes colours, shapes, patterns, or nothing. Just observe the state of your mind. Sending yourself gratitude for this practice, your body gratitude for this practice. And just directing the energy of this practice with consciousness towards any part of your body or your life, or any aspect of yourself or your outer life where you feel there's a need for more balance. And just consciously direct the fruits of this practice towards balance, the highest good. And when you're complete, opening the eyes. Namaste. Thank you for practicing with me today.